Your dog has been sending you messages every single day. Not obvious ones, not the bark at the door or the bowl nudged across the floor at dinner time. The quiet ones. The ones happening in the background of ordinary moments that most owners have walked past 1,000 times without ever registering what was being communicated. Every shift in posture, every specific quality of eye contact, every way they position themselves in relation to you in a room. All of it is language, specific, consistent, and directed, most of the time and specifically at you. Today we are going through 10 of the most commonly sent and most consistently missed signals your dog has been sending at you. 1. The slow tail wag at rest, not the frantic wag of excitement. The slow, loose, almost absent-minded movement of the tail that happens when your dog is simply near you, doing nothing in particular. Tail movement research has established that different wag patterns reflect different internal states. A slow, relaxed, mid-height tail movement during a calm moment reflects a baseline of contentment, an unconscious expression of fundamental ease. It is the behavioral equivalent of someone humming quietly while doing something ordinary, not a performance, simply the sound that ease makes when it is genuine. This tail wag cannot be produced on command and cannot be performed. It exists only when the underlying state it reflects is actually present. 2. They turn their back to you. This surprises most owners because it seems like the dog is ignoring them. In canine communication, it means something much more significant. A dog that turns their back to you and stays that way, remaining in your vicinity but oriented away, is performing a trust display. Turning the back exposes the part of the body the dog cannot monitor or react from. Choosing to do this in your presence communicates that you have been assessed as completely safe, safe enough to stop watching. Dogs do not turn their back to people they are uncertain about. Turning away is reserved for the people they trust completely. 3. The specific location. They choose in a room. When your dog enters a room and selects a place to settle, that choice is not random. The dog that consistently settles where they can see the primary entry point is running a quiet, protective monitoring program. The dog that settles facing you specifically is maintaining visual connection with their attachment figure as a background regulation strategy. The dog that settles with their back against a wall is choosing maximum environmental awareness. Common in more cautious temperaments or dogs that have not yet fully assessed a space as safe. Deviations from your dog's established spatial patterns are among the earliest signals that something in their emotional state has changed. 4. The quality of their sigh. Dogs sigh regularly, and most owners hear the sound without distinguishing between what it can mean. The settling sigh, long, slow, audible, is the nervous system completing a cycle and returning to baseline. The sigh during interaction while resting near you is often affiliative, communicating ease in your specific presence. The sigh that sounds slightly different from either shorter, more compressed, can indicate frustration, mild discomfort, or an unmet need. The distinction is subtle, but becomes identifiable the more closely you listen to your specific dog across many different contexts. 5. Where they position themselves. When strangers arrive. When a new person enters your home, watch where your dog goes. Not what they do, but specifically where they place themselves in relation to you and the newcomer. A dog that positions themselves between you and the stranger is engaging in subtle protective behavior. A dog that moves to your side or behind you is using you as a safe base from which to assess the newcomer. A dog that moves confidently toward the stranger without checking back is showing secure attachment functioning well enough that novelty does not require the safe base to be explored. Each pattern tells you something about where your dog sits on the security spectrum. 6. The single, deliberate lick. Within the broader behavior of licking, there is a specific type that functions as a distinct signal. The single, deliberate lick, placed on your hand or arm in a quiet moment, not repeated, not part of any solicitation sequence. This lick is not about taste. It is not appeasement. It is a brief, intentional moment of physical connection initiated for its own sake. A touch that says, in the simplest available physical language, I am aware of you and I am choosing to make contact with you right now. Its brevity and intentionality, the single, specific, unrepeated quality of it, is exactly what distinguishes it from other types of licking and gives it a meaning worth recognizing. 7. The ears that move independently. Most owners read ear position bilaterally, both ears forward for alert, both back for anxious. The more nuanced signal is the independent movement of each ear. Research found that dogs move their right ear forward in response to familiar, positive stimuli, including their owner's voice, and their left ear forward in response to unfamiliar or potentially threatening stimuli. This asymmetry reflects the contralateral processing of the brain's hemispheres and provides a real-time window into whether a dog is processing a stimulus as familiar and positive or as novel and threatening. Your voice, reliably moving your dog's right ear forward, is a signal that takes a moment to see and a lifetime to appreciate. 8. The pause. Before they settle near you. This one is so brief and so ordinary that it almost never gets named, but it is one of the most consistently intentional behaviors in a dog's daily repertoire. When your dog approaches the space near you and pauses, standing for a moment before lying down, orienting toward you before committing to the position, taking that one extra second before settling, they're doing something specific. They are checking that the space is available, that the invitation is open, that your energy is something they want to settle near. It is a small social courtesy. An animal that is not simply collapsing wherever is convenient, but actively reading the relational landscape before making the choice to be close to you. The pause is the reading. The settling is the conclusion that being near you right now is worth choosing. Over time, you begin to notice whether the pause is brief and confident, a quick check followed by easy settling, or whether it is longer, more hesitant, the dog reading something in your energy that makes settling near you feel less certain. That difference, once you know to look for it, is a genuinely useful daily data point about your dog's reading of your current state. 9. The specific way they wake up. The transition from sleep to waking is one of the least observed and most revealing behavioral windows available in a dog's daily cycle. A dog waking from genuine, deep, well-regulated sleep rises in a specific way. There is a full body stretch, sometimes one long extension, sometimes the play bow adjacent, front and back stretch, followed by a shake, followed by an orientation to the environment that is clear-eyed, unhurried, and curious rather than guarded. This waking sequence is the body completing its rest cycle cleanly and returning to full engagement with the world from a genuine baseline of ease. It has a quality that is distinct from the waking of a dog, whose sleep was fragmented or whose resting nervous system never fully disengaged from monitoring, which tends to produce an abrupt, more guarded, less physically complete transition from rest to alertness. Watching how your dog wakes up regularly across many ordinary mornings gives you access to information about the quality of their sleep and the baseline state of their nervous system that is difficult to assess any other way. The full body stretch and the shake and the clear-eyed orientation to the day are, taken together, one of the more complete physical expressions of genuine well-being available. 10. They find you in the room without being called. You have not said their name. You have not made any sound directed at them. You are simply in the room, doing something ordinary, and your dog, from wherever they were, arrives near you. Settles. Does not ask for anything. This is one of the most frequently occurring and most consistently under-examined behaviors in the entire dog-owner relationship, because it is so ordinary, because it happens so often, because it looks from the outside like nothing much at all, but it is the primary bond making itself visible in the most unremarkable possible way. Your dog's nervous system registered your presence, processed it as the most positive available stimulus in the current environment, and directed the body toward it without any external prompt. They did not need a reason. You were there. That was sufficient. Of all the signals on this list, the ear movement, the tail wag, the specific sigh, the pause before settling, this one is the most ordinary and possibly the most profound, because it happens dozens of times a day, every day, across the entire length of a shared life. Your dog, finding you without being called, is not a behavior with a dramatic name or a research citation that explains it cleanly. It is just a dog knowing where you are and choosing again and again to be there too. 10 signals. All of them, happening in the ordinary moments of a day you probably thought you already knew. You did not miss them because you were not paying attention. You missed them because nobody told you what to look for. Now you know. Drop a comment. I read every single one. Subscribe. New video every week. See you next time.